All right, guys, here we go. Game 3. It's going to be a Zerg versus Protoss match, and here we do have our Zerg player currently winning 2 games already in this Prime versus Liquid best of 9. It is Anyang. And down in the lower right in the pink from TeamLiquid.net, he is the player that they need, but maybe not the player they deserve. I don't know. I tried to do a Batman tie-in. Yeah. It is Liquid Hero. I don't even know if that's how the line goes.
It's he's not the hero we deserve, but the hero we have. Oh God, I'm messing it up now too.
The hero we need. That's what,
yes.
It's not the hero we deserve, but the hero that Gotham needs.
Oh my God,
Liquid
I'm sure someone is going to rail us on Twitter now because
it's okay. I don't have a problem with that.
Well, that's
Bring it
on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is cross positions on Entomb Valley, and Hero, of course, opening up with pretty standard stuff. Pylon up towards the front, and Pylon offers you a lot of flexibility. More than likely, we'll see a wall here, but he does have an option of walling this off a little bit smaller or different area if he so desires. Really good map for Protoss players to go for a very quick third. We've been seeing more Protoss players favor that lately with full wall loss into quick third bases, and just kind of letting Protoss players, Zerg players kill themselves on them.
Yeah, I mean, Zerg is under a lot of pressure on this map right from the beginning, and we'll probably see that from Anyang. I mean, a lot of Zergs are like, oh great, well, I don't want Protoss to get 3 bases, but they kind of are on this map. Yeah. It's very difficult to stop. We've seen Zerg players kind of play around with different things. I mean, the Ling Roach max into, something else is popular to try to just kill the Protoss straight off. But it's tough, man. I mean, so many Zerg builds in this matchup rely on having 3 bases fairly quickly, but not only is it a little bit difficult to take your third on this map because it's kind of down and then around the corner and up the ramp again, but it's also very difficult to hold because it's so isolated from the rest of your kind of main base area, the main, the natural, and the third. So it's a great map choice by Hero for that reason. If I was in a Team League situation and I wanted to, a map that would be really good against my opponent, I would definitely pick Entomb Valley as well. But it's up to Hero now to capitalize on this.
Yep, have to agree. So we'll see what he ends up doing here. He's going to run around and check for the third and, of course, find it. Anyang deciding to go for that. Now, on this map especially, if you don't take down those destructible rocks, and it's very difficult for a Zerg player to do so at the beginning of the game, with just nothing but Lings, you have to walk an incredibly long distance to try and defend your third. So Protoss players have found a lot of creative ways to go ahead and take advantage of that fact.
I feel like the best way for Zerg to handle that on this map is to just bite the bullet and make a couple extra Zerglings, immediately put like 2 to 4 Zerglings on those rocks right at the very beginning of the game, and then just have those other Zerglings that you'd normally be scouting with continue to do that. Because right now Zerg players feel uncomfortable with the idea of, okay, if I want to get those rocks down in a timely fashion, either I need to attack immediately like this and sacrifice some of my scouting with Lings early in the game, or I just need to make more Zerglings and get a few less drones. You can see, though, that I think Anyang Prime is kind of doing what I said. He's got 2 Zerglings on the rocks right now, but he's also got a couple more in production for scouting. It looks like, well, maybe he's just going to go ahead and attack the rocks with everything. All right.
What this reminds me of is today I made a mistake on a data entry form, and I had to individually delete 2,000 entries.
Oh, wow.
And that's what this feels like right now, is these Zerglings are just picking away slowly but surely these destructible rocks, and I'm feeling the intense frustration I did earlier on.
That does sound a bit annoying.
It does.
Not gonna lie. Okay, so he is going to send a Ling out to scout a little bit.
Oh, God, I saw Liquid Hero and has left the game right at the beginning. I was like, okay, that's it. No,
he found the probe. Nice.
Yep, good catch there. And Hero will be able to ascertain a little bit of information from this. Nothing's too out of the ordinary. It's obviously 3 hash, no gas, nothing too weird from Anyang. And Hero with kind of a clever little positioning up at the front. He's actually got 3 pylons built into this with a little bit wider gap between them, so he keeps a double wall, but it's not... I don't know, it's a little more exposed. It's a little bit different than I'm used to seeing.
Okay, yeah, so there's that +1 really quickly from Hero as well. So going for probably some sort of early gateway composition. Obviously, you don't get +1 if you don't really intend to use it.
Right.
It's not nice to be like, there, I have +1. And then just kind of sit there. You're going to use it, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Protoss players do like to add on a few more gateways and go just gateway. We've also seen quite a bit of Stargate with +1 Zealot pressure as well. Hero's the type of player where in the past we've seen him go for 1-1, getting the +1 shield, not shields, +1 armor as well, and then going for like 5 or 6 gates and then expanding. So he's got some options, and I mean, it's up to Anyang to really scout well and try to have a good idea of what his opponent's going to throw at him.
All right, so that being said, Macro Hedge coming up for Anyang now as he does double gas, and we'll see what round he goes down here in a bit, but expect pretty soon that Evolution Chamber, Layer Tech, etc. once he starts this gas mining quite a bit. So he has already saved up 265 supply, though, before getting these gas, so pretty late on. In fact, he's going to have 55 drones done by the time he ever takes in any gas.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, he knows that he does have a little bit of time generally with this, and he's got everything coming down at, well, it might actually be a little bit late, honestly.
That's what I was thinking,
He may have slightly over-droned. You obviously do want to get a lot of drones here, but yeah, I think this may have been a little bit too much for Anyang here. We'll have to see, because he's got his Roach Warren and Evo Chamber almost finishing, but Hero taking the third, and he's ready to put some pressure on, man. +1 is finishing right now.
That's right, +1 does finish up.
Oh, so nice round.
Stalker taking a lot of the damage there, but of course the +1 Zealots are running through Zerglings. Yeah. Many kills between them. A few more units are starting to warp in, and Hero pulling back slowly but surely, causing his opponent to produce a lot of Zerglings at the moment. But the cool thing that Anyang is doing, though, by having to go into unit production so much later, he does indeed have a, I mean, he has a great economy to fall back on, even taking a little bit of losses here.
Yeah, that's right. And the Queen gets so low, 1 hit away.
Go, Queen, go!
Oh, she has to run. Oh, no, what a brave Queen. Her toupee popped off. Look at that. See, it's right there.
Sad.
But anyway, yeah, these Zelts are going to be able to do a ton of damage here. Anyang almost was able to hold it off with just Lings, but as you can see, the Roach Warren just a little bit delayed. And that is actually making a huge difference because he doesn't have those roaches at that crucial time. Look at that now. They're not going to be able to save this hatchery.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where if he was able to hold the hatchery, he could have suffered a little bit of losses of drones because he had droned to such a nice point. But losing the hatchery is a whole different story, and Hero has gained himself a pretty good spot now. I mean, he's already started to wall off, full wall off, actually. His third base, his Nexus, has already finished up. Once he takes down these rocks, he's in a pretty good spot. He actually does have to take down those rocks. He actually can't get to his base unless those go down.
Yeah, it's actually perfect that he walled that off, though, right away, because the last thing he wants is a little Ling counterattack. He knows his opponent has a lot of units out there right now that are kind of just sitting around, so he doesn't want to become vulnerable to that sort of thing. Sentries obviously don't kill rocks very quickly, but in this particular case, it should work just fine. And yeah, we're going to have to see Anyang Prime get a little bit aggressive here. He's going to need to try to do some damage to make up for the fact that he's going to be a bit behind economically. The nice thing for him, though, is that, yeah, he did lose a hatchery, but he didn't really lose a whole lot of drones. If we hit the unit loss tab, I don't think we're going to see a lot. Yeah, only 2 workers killed. So once the hatchery comes back up, he's going to be right back up to max saturation with that. So things could be worse for Anyang as well.
And it looks like he's going to decide to tech out of this. Infestation Pit is coming up, so he's going to bypass that heavy roach stage.
That's
he's going to keep some units out in the middle just for map control, things like that, but he'd be able to pull them back pretty easily for defense, and then just move over to a 4-base high-tech build.
I think that's actually a great idea. I mean, if he had lost a lot of drones and he was way behind on the worker count, then yeah, you kind of need to go all in some of those cases, but where he didn't lose the workers, I'd say that's absolutely the right decision to just kind of sit back, play a little bit more defensively, and retake those bases because you know you're going to have the workers to fill it. But look at this. A Dark Shrine on the way for Hero.
That's right. So Hero, that's going to be not just using those 4 DTs, but of course that's going to be his path into Archons later on, or at least for a little bit until he decides to go for a Templar Archives in a bit. So that being said, though, Anyang is finally starting to transfer over some drones back over to his third base. He's still sitting on 60 workers. He's down 12 workers to his opponent, but he still has a pretty sizable amount. We'll be able to re-drone up very quickly.
I think he's up to about 70 now. I thought I saw like a big round of drones.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. 76. So he's doing just fine in the economy.
Yeah, he can kind of sit there for a little while and make some units just to kind of stay safe at this point. Hero's going to be able to use those DTs, you know, ideally for him to do damage, but also to make his opponent spend some gas on things like Overseers that he may not want to spend the gas on, you know, maybe make a couple extra Spore Crawlers. There already are, though, 5 Infestors on the way for our Zerg players. So he's going to have those out by the time the DTs get there, and they're going to be able to, you know, in the worst case scenario, fungal and reveal those as well.
That's right. So now Anyang has, let's see here, 4 bases up. Hasn't transferred anything over to this 4th base yet. I expect that to be incoming momentarily. But yeah, the Infested number continues to increase on 5 Infestors, like you mentioned. 6 on the way now with +2 attacks. And looks like he was a bit supply block there, but just finished up a bunch of his... Oh, and is able to pick off the Observer too.
Very nice. He's going to be up to over 90 drones. He actually is right now. Yeah, look at that, 92 drones right now. That is awesome for Anyang Prime because at this point, he can start to to take in income so quickly that when he maxes out, he's going to be able to get to that point where he can attack and then remax that much faster. He's going to be able to afford a lot of Broodlords on 4 bases, so Anyang Prime just doing everything correct to set him up for a very strong late game. So I'm curious to see what Hero's next move is going to be. Obviously, with the observers, he's seen pretty much everything there is to see at Anyang's base, but how is Hero going to choose to try to take advantage of this? You know, what is he going to send at his opponent next?
Well, let's see now. Let's take a look at his infrastructure. So 2, 3 gates up at the front. He's got 2 more on the way for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 gates with Robo Bay and Dark Templar in the mix as well. So that's pretty normal stuff. There are 3 DTs on the field. Let me see. I'm not sure where they were warped in / running. Are they in this warp prism? Okay, 2 of them are, yes.
A DT drop. And I think there's another one coming around the outside. Is that what that is? Okay, yeah, he is. He's going to come in from the front there. And are there Spore Crawlers in the base? Looks like there is. An observer near there, an overseer near
there. There are overseers, though. So it looks like he's going to be able to clean that up with minimal losses, not too much damage done. Oh, 1 going over to the main, though, and it is going to be able to pick off a few workers, but not the worst thing in the world for Anyang. He, of course, did drone up quite a bit and has his Hive Tech and Spire just finishing right now. Ooh, good pick of the Warp Prism as well.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, Anyang Prime is kind of handling everything pretty well at this point. The DT is going to get cleaned up as soon as Vision does get in range. He's already transferring drones back, so he must have an Overseer on the way. Liquid Hero, though, moving out with a pretty big force across the map right now. I'm curious to see how many Colossi he actually has with this.
That's right. It looks like that DT is actually going to get away. Sneaky little DT.
No kidding, man.
Just 1 Colossus, but there are 2 on the field, so 1 must be reinforcing here pretty quick. Yeah, there it is. So has 2 out and going up to that Stargate and 4th base for an eventual Mothership switch. So, or a Mothership addition, I guess I should say. You don't really switch to Motherships because you can only get 1 of them.
Well, not until Heart of the Swarm, where you switch from the Mothership core to the Mothership. Then you're
that's right.
Doing
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh man, I can't wait for everything in Heart of the Swarm. I mean, it's going to be fun.
Well, Greater Spires, 70 seconds of the way finished. Only 30 seconds remaining now, and Corruptors are already popping up. So Corruptors will serve utility even before they get turned. Oh, not so lucky that time.
Nope. It was rough.
Yeah,
rough life sometimes for DT.
It's hard knock life for DTs, unfortunately. So,
well, we are maxed versus maxed right now in this Zerg versus Protoss game. Nice bank built up by Anyang, so when he does kind of have that fight, he is going to be able to conceivably remax very quickly. He's got those Broodlords on the way. How many larvae does he have saved up?
Let's see, 30 of them.
30, yeah. I was going to say it should be getting up there. Yeah, he's kind of getting ready for that big sort of late game push situation where he's going to be able to try to engage that army in mid-map and then remax very, very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to try for a Zergling counterattack here, but there's already a fair number of Photon Cannons up, so shouldn't prove to be that big of a deal, although this probe is certainly going to regret moving out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep, so 5 cannons up, and a warp in of a single Zealot or a couple of Zealots will be enough to ward these units away. Actually, the Blink Stalker's making the way back now, so a couple of probes went down, but of course the Zerglings will all die, most of that being used to free up a bit of supply, though for the eventual, there's 13 Corruptors on the way now.
Yep, that's right, and tons of Spine Crawlers being built by Anyang right now, just trying to make himself relatively unbreakable. Now, obviously, Colossi, for some reason I forgot the name of that unit for a second there. For some reason, wow, I'm just like not able to talk suddenly. My brain just turned off right there.
I apologize.
It's
that's
back
unfortunate
on now, but I'm just like, thinking about things. But the Colossi cannot range the spines, but with good fungals, it could do a little bit better, and there are a good amount of Corruptors out as well. But here he goes.
All right.
Will it be enough to break him?
I don't know. That's a lot of Spine Crawlers, but I've got to say they've gone down uncontested so far. So now the base is a little bit exposed here. A few Broodlords trying to make their way over at the moment. They are going to start sieging up these units off to the side. That's a fair number of Blink Stalkers, though. Will they be able to get underneath the Broodlords? In fact, he feels confident with the number of Corruptors that he has, confident enough that he's able to start morphing in a few Broodlords directly on top of this army. Hero decides, though, to just go for the hatchery and get out of there, which he will do as there is a Mothership on the way. Of course, Warp Prism speed was finished up just a second ago, so Warp Prism is going to be used for utility in this army as well.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. No reason to go right for the kill at that particular point for Liquid Hero. I mean, he does have his 4th base up. If he can reduce his opponent to 1 base less than he has, he's going to be in a great spot. And yeah, with the Mothership on the way once it comes out, he can look for an opportunity when Anyang has his units a little bit grouped up, get that Vortex, and try to just end the game in that fashion rather than just trying to continue to push with this largely robo-based army.
All right. Well, Hero now get a scout around the side with a Zealot. Anyang continuing to take bases. His creep spread not that far out there. The active creep tumors had been shut down, but honestly, he hadn't spent that much time on putting his creep spread out there all that long. So Hero, that scouting stalker does its job at least. It picks up on a hatchery off to the top right-hand corner, and now Anyang is on, what, 6 base?
Yeah, 6 bases, but not really mining yet. I mean, they're there, but he hasn't really been able to take advantage of those, and we'll have to see if Hero wants to let him. The Blink Stalker count is getting pretty high, and in late game, pretty much everything, it's the Blink Stalkers that really are what cause problems for the Zerg player.
It's true, though.
Yeah, and well, here's kind of the weird thing, too, that I was going to mention is that there's just not a lot of Infestors out right now. At least they haven't really engaged in the fight. So without Infestors, that's just going to make the Stalkers that much more valuable.
And
hello, Mothership.
There's Mothership. So fair number of gateways being cloaked that unfortunately aren't being turned into warp gates at the moment. I'm sure that'll change. There we go. Stalkers versus Zerglings, the battle of who wants to free up army supply the most, as Hero will add on a few additional high-tech units here in just a bit. What's his Templar count at? Just 5. I see that increasing pretty soon here.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, at the very least, he's going to want some Archons too, but these Templar are saving up a lot of energy. What's that's coming around the outside of the map? Okay, it's another
fast Warp Prism.
Nice, he did actually get Warp Prism speed. I mean, like we said, Hero really known for his Warp Prism plan. Will it be DTs? It will be just a ton of Zealots. Oh man, a lot of Zerglings are going to die to these.
That's right. So a few Roaches are in behind now as well, but that's not that many frontline engagement forces.
That worked so well.
No, actually, that was a pretty good defense from Anyang. Yet the units reacted in plenty enough time. However, Hero does send a few units up to the top right-hand corner. He is going to be able to take out this hatchery and position his army to cut off anything that would be trying to attack it. Yeah,
Zealots actually do kill buildings really fast. It's kind of surprising, but they tear through them really quickly. So more spines going down for Anyang. Got tons of them. Hero still with a very strong army, but he needs to get in there and actually do some damage right now. Things are getting a little bit out of control. Oh, that helps.
Yeah.
That's great.
Warp Prism bringing in some more units. Unfortunately, it is killed, though, by the Spore Crawler, and Fungal's locking down a lot of Stalkers, and most of those are going to die, so quite a bit of damage being done. Hero needs to regroup. He actually needs to get out of there. Pathing, though,
Hero, what are you
taking
doing?
those units around, has to blink out. Is he going to lose any of his Templar? Yes, does lose one of them.
Oh, man, lost the Templar, lost some Stalkers, took damage, everything else. The hatchery does not go down. More Zealots, though, warped in. Hero just warping in Zealots everywhere, but it needs to do more damage. This one's doing okay.
Yeah, this one's actually doing pretty well. Quite a bit of workers killed. 46 now, so Hero continuing to do economic damage, but of course his opponent is just, well, it was replacing it with just attack units, but now a few more drones are being started as well.
Yeah, he's going to need to. He's also going to maybe get this hatchery. Will it be enough? Those Colossi looking very vulnerable. Oh, Storm's going down.
That's right, Storm's a few of the Broodlords. Doesn't do too much damage, though. Hero's really got to be careful with that army. Oh, and he does actually get the hatchery on the left-hand side. Now, I'm not sure where the Mothership is at, but it does have enough energy now for a recall if worst comes to worst.
Yeah, I mean, Hero, I feel like, is maybe trying to be in too many places at once right now, and that probe is the bravest probe ever. Wow.
Killed by everything.
Down, man.
Yeah, no
Spine
kidding.
Crawler, Queen, and Broodlord. That hurts.
All right, so let's see here. There's the Mothership, almost on full energy at the moment. Templar loaded up in a Warp Prism. Actually, a couple of Warp Prisms around. How many are on the map at the moment? Looks like just those 2. Okay, so the other ones must have gotten killed when trying to drop off their cargo.
Hero's actually in a great spot right now. I mean, Anyang Prime, although he's done a good job of defending some of this aggression, he's very low on minerals right now. He's lost a lot of drones. He's lost what? We're going carriers, apparently.
I was about to say second Cybernetics Core, Graviton Catapult, more Stargates. It is going to be time for carriers.
I like it. I mean, he knows that Anyang Prime is going to have a really hard time replacing the army that he has right now. He's got a ton of gas, but just not a lot of minerals. He's not even able right now to keep up on supply. Oh, look at that! Wow, dropping off the Templar and feedbacking those Infestors. That is one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And a Templar dropped a Storm. Some of the remaining drones.
Yeah, so killed 2 of them. The other one's pretty low in health. And the Warp Prism's still very, very speedy and getting out of there. At the same time, though, he's going to try and drop in and do some economic damage here. Those Corruptors taking some damage, but they're going to be able to pick off a lot of Colossi. Now, of course, there's a lot of resources banked for Heroes. He's making 5 Stargates, but he's going to need to start adding on those units very quickly. 16 Templar warping in at the same time.
Wow. So here's the question now. Does Anyang Prime get aggressive? I feel like Hero is kind of banking on the fact that Anyang Prime needs to kind of sit back and play a little bit more of a defensive game right now. That's going to give Hero a chance to get out the carriers, get out a lot more Archons and things like that. he's not in a situation where he really needs to delay, but he has an idea about where he wants to send the tech in this game, and that's going to involve keeping his opponent at home, which he's doing a great job of doing right now.
He is certainly doing that, but we're going to need to see those carriers pretty soon. Of course, that's great that he has so many Archons. That's awesome, and he's a high-energy mothership as well, but he's not on max supply. He could have a lot more utility in this army, but he just needs to make the decision whether he wants gateway units or carriers here in a second.
Kind of indecisive at the moment. I feel like he's kind of testing the front right now. Yeah. Be like, all right, well, we'll see how much I can do here, per se. I think he's kind of trying to bait the army out as well to kind of get a read on what his opponent is doing.
Even this army with a well-placed Vortex will be able to kill all the Broodlords. I mean, that's going to be plenty enough if he's able to successfully bait that. So
he needs to run with those Archons, too.
Yeah, those are off to the side now. Is the mothership still back at home? It is, so it's not even going to be used now in the rest of this army. And there we go, 4 carriers coming up at the same time. They take an enormous amount of time to produce, so it'll be a while before they pop up, but the upgrades are continuing.
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe he was going to run that army in, try to do some damage, and then recall, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just going to kind of sacrifice some of those Stalkers. Again, if he's making carriers, he doesn't really need all those Stalkers anyway, so that's okay, but he still does need to be a little bit careful. This is a dangerous transition time for him.
That's right. DT cleaning up creep tumors, which is kind of clever. Unfortunately, these DTs just kind of sat around and waited. They could have gotten through and killed the Spore Crawler, but not really doing anything. They're going to get cleaned up.
Yep. Still a couple Zerglings on the way out, but those Zerglings, of course, are 3-3. They are very strong right now, so they will continue to do damage. At least I believe they're 3-3. I could be wrong.
Let me go ahead and check.
It's not important. If I'm wrong, it's not important. If I'm right, then it's great.
Let's see here, though, as taking a look now down at Hero side of things, those 4 carriers are about to pop up, but he's not using his... okay, well, he did replace with Zealots, that's right, so went through a lot of his mineral bank to produce a few Zealots and continue to take out some of these Spine Crawlers, maybe trying to get his opponent to create more Spine Crawlers, sacrifice his economy a bit so he won't suspect the big air switch.
Could be.
In fact, let me take a look. Okay, yeah, he's not seeing any of those Stargates coming up yet.
Yep. Killed off a couple units there, was able to get the Infestors in a good spot, but, you know, we'll see. I mean, Templar obviously can kill Infestors with feedback, things like that. But, oh my god, will he really want to use that? Does he really have a lot of Templars out? And man, DT skill building so fast.
I love 3-3 DTs. They're amazing. And this hatchery's down to 200 points and down. So he kills yet another hatchery. There's no mining going on at this one. This is the only one that's really being used. And 50 workers and continuing to fall for him at the moment.
Yeah, now how long is Anyang Prime going to be able to use that? We'll see. I mean, Hero continuing to just kind of be very harass-oriented. It looks like he's got a Warp Prism flying around the top of the map right now.
Let's see here.
And he wants to warp things in. What's it going to be?
Find out.
Zealots. Doesn't really need to warp anything in right there, though.
And his carriers are actually going up to 2-2 upgrades at the moment with +3 shields just about to finish. That makes these Archons undervalued upgrade for, or underappreciated upgrade, I believe, for those Archons. And it looks like 1 DT is in. This is going to be another DT, but that's about it once they start taking out some tech structures.
Yep. And the Corruptor's chasing that War Prism. The DT gets dropped off to go after the Infestation Pit. And it looks like the War Prism may actually get away, too.
That's right. Do we have any observing coming up? No, the Infestation Pit is going to fall. Baneling Nest was coming up at the moment, though, so...
it's pretty close.
Yeah. And... bye-bye.
Yep. Nice job, DT.
Well done.
Good job.
Well done. Good job. Well, so let's go ahead and see now. There's 3 more carriers popping up. He's going to be at a total of 7. He's expended a lot of resources into those, but he's maxed on them at the moment, so he's going to be able to do a ridiculous amount of damage. Mama Ship's still sitting with full energy there, so he's got a quite powerful frontline engagement force. It's going to be very difficult for his opponents trying to get anything done there.
Well, yeah, Hero's playing this really smart. I mean, some people would look at what Hero's doing, you know, see all the carriers and be like, all right, why is Hero showboating? Why is he trying to, like, just kind of play around here? Why doesn't he just end the game? And Hero is kind of doing the epitome of, you know, when you're ahead, get more ahead. He knows how much damage he's done to the economy of his Zerg opponent, right? So if he just sits back, takes the entire half of the map, you know, if he's that much farther ahead at that point, how can he lose in this situation?
Wow, shield upgrade so good for photon cannons. Those are only taking 4 damage apiece from each of those Zerglings, and gave him a lot of survivability. So actually kind of underrated there as well. So, taking a look around, this might as well be words spelled out in creep tumors there, but unfortunately it's not. Just makes the map look really, really busy. A few stalkers off the left-hand side continuing to deny creep. Hero sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases at the moment.
Yep.
Because he has the one in between as well. Hasn't gone to any of the side expansions quite yet. But once again, as you mentioned, huge bank, really keeping his opponent pinned in. That's 7 carriers. That's a pretty good force.
Yeah, no kidding. I think it may be about time to move out soon. We'll see. He's putting down more defensive cannons here in the middle of the map. I love it. It's like big game hunters suddenly, just cannons and carriers, man, all day. Oh, more units coming in to sacrifice themselves for the cause. And you mentioned people spelling things out with creep tumors. I watched a game that Sen played once at the Gome House where he spelled his name out with creep tumors on Xel'Naga Caverns.
That's so cute.
He was pretty far ahead at that point.
I could imagine. So, wow, wasting a lot of energy off of those infestors. I have to say, those 4 or 5 fungal growth. They're still not dead. They finally will go down now, but...
Yeah. Well,
right.
Infestaterrans, oh, they do get the Warp Prism. All right, another one immediately started by Liquid Hero.
That's right. And is he going to get the Spine
Wow,
Crawler?
he does.
He does!
Oh.
Go Gadget, charge lots, and he dies.
The Spine Crow is like, let me take care of this. He just like reaches over and pokes the Zealot to death.
You killed my brethren, etc., etc.
3-3 for air upgrades. I don't think I've ever seen that on the production queue before.
5 more carriers as well. He's going to be on a total of 12, 3-3-3 carriers.
Wow. I mean, I feel like Heroes kind of had this game on lockdown for a while, honestly, but he is really going to go out with a bang in this game. He is going to make sure that Anyang Prime's Zerg units feel this to the next 10 games he plays.
No kidding. So, well, we are passing the 36-minute mark now, so the game has taken a pretty good period of time. Looks like he's going to run up with a mothership over here, and maybe we're going to see some sort of a recall of the carriers. No, he's starting to move them up there now. It's just going to take a little while for them to pop up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Anyang Prime's about to get hit so hard by this army that he's going to feel it in ladder season 10. It's going to be tough.
It's getting to that point, though.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, there's a ton of infestors out for Anyang Prime, so he isn't really out of the woods completely as far. Well, he isn't out of commission, I should say. He's not completely dead. He's got, I would say, at this point, an inferior unit composition, even though it is about the best as it can be, really.
Yeah. I have to give
a lot of...
I was going to say, I have to give a shout out to my brother, Ted, who just texted in Dem Carriers. So.
No kidding.
Ted, how's it going? All right. Well, that's 7 carriers right there. 5 more did just join, as we mentioned before, and there they come. So,
Close carriers. This looks so familiar. I mean, it's like Brood War all over again.
Carrier Archon Templar Mothership, and we're going to see what Anyang can do now. He starts to lock down a couple of those interceptors there. Even manages to snag one of the carriers, but I don't know if anything can get close enough to take this out.
I don't know, man. I mean, carriers by themselves aren't actually that great. Their damage output isn't as high as people think it is, but when you get that many of them, it doesn't really matter. And yes, in case you didn't know, you can fungal growth interceptors.
That's right.
So it's pretty nice. Oh, he needs to be careful. That'd be a bad fungal. I mean, yeah, the carriers have a lot of hit points, but you don't want to make it that easy for Zerg, right?
No, not at all. Yeah. And there's all 12 carriers, including the ones up at the front that are starting to regen some of those interceptors over and over again. Hero certainly has the money for it. It's not like he's waiting on anything besides this 3-3 upgrade.
The cool thing is that you can actually make interceptor building auto build if you right-click it. Some Protoss players I know don't know that. But yeah, if you right-click the build interceptor button. Oh yeah, every pro does it. Yeah, if you do that, then whenever you need an interceptor on that carrier, it'll automatically build it. So kind of a cool little thing they added for StarCraft 2.
Well, 7 interceptors at a time. It's pretty good mineral drain, but he's just doing a good job of keeping his opponent locked in.
He's got the minerals to do it.
There's another full base up though for Anyang, so looks like that's where he's going to send. I mean, he is still max. Let's not take anything away from Anyang at the moment. He's actually on less workers than an opponent as well, so he has a better standing army. Pretty good feedback one more time to kill an infestor there.
Fungal feedback, that's a terrifying ability.
Yeah, it is. Oh, God.
I know.
Area of effect feedback, everything dies.
Oh, wow, yeah, that'd be terrifying. Well, speaking of terrifying, here comes the carrier army from Liquid Hero, and man, can anything stop this?
I don't know, man. I
don't know.
Investors dying really quickly.
There's so many carriers.
This is the mothership off to the side as well, so maybe a potential big recall here in a bit.
I think you're right. I think we're going to see some damage done and then a recall over to the other side to take out some of those bases when Anyang Prime can't respond with that slow army.
That's right. He's trying to move everything into position. That's not a ton of anti-air, and he just can't get close enough to do any damage. There we go. Looks like he finally wants to engage right now. Feedback's hitting a couple of those infestors towards the back, actually instantly taking those out. The infestors, the interceptors continuing to build now. One carrier has fallen, and a big fungal growth hits everything, and boom, recall.
recall to the other side of the map, and now the question is, can Anyang Prime get there in time to save his bases? I haven't seen something like this since that Kiwikaki Stefano game at IPL 3, man.
I know, that was ridiculous.
This is how you use a mothership.
No kidding. So, and as soon as the units pop back, he still has enough for a Vortex as well. So he will be able to still do quite a bit of damage. He's got Archons morphing right underneath it as well. The Corruptors have made their way back. There's a fair number of them, but they're not really rolling in as one unit. There we go. Finally catching up.
Oh, no. This could be bad for Hero. He's got so many carriers dying to these Corruptors right now.
Yes, he does.
That Vortex doesn't quite get it.
Nope, not hitting yet. Not using the energy either.
The supply right now for Liquid Hero is actually down a little bit from where his opponent was. Anyang Prime taking the opportunity to make some drones, trying to get that worker count up, and 6 more carriers on the way for Liquid Hero right now. He is sticking with this late game composition.
A little surprised about that, to be honest. I mean, once you use the big carrier force, yes, he's invested a lot into them, but it seems like you get by with just, you know, a whole lot of Templars or something like that afterwards.
Well, I mean, the question is, you know, what can Hero really do right now, army-wise, that's superior to what he's already got? I mean,
that's true.
Any sort of gateway composition, I mean, if he went for a ton of Void Rays, those die very quickly to Corruptors. So, I mean, this is right now the ideal composition. That's actually hilarious. It's changing. Like, we're trying to be creep tumors. That DT is cheating, man. Those kills don't count if you're just killing harmless changelings.
Regardless, that's still a 36 kill DT, and this base is actually going to start getting sieged up here in a second.
It's going to need to get canceled.
Yes, it is. There it goes.
Yeah.
All right, so, well, DT keeps going forward, man. He's doing some pretty good damage. Oh, he's going to die, though.
Oh, well.
Rest in peace. You'll be remembered.
More probes getting sacrificed just to make that army for Liquid Hero that much bigger. He's still basically maxed out as soon as possible, now creating a bunch of Stalkers. Looks like on the left side of the map we have a small contingent of carriers and Archons trying to do some damage here. Some Broodlords left alone. This could be a good opportunity for Hero.
And Hero at the same time was actually warping in over here as well. Oh, he killed a lot of workers right there. In fact, during this game, he's killed 126.
What?
Holy crap!
Is more workers killed than you would see in a TVT last year.
Is that close to the most workers killed in a game? I think it has to be.
It could be. What's the combined total?
Let's see here. Combined total is only 160.
You know, it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot, but I know I saw TVTs last year at the GSO where there were more workers killed.
Yeah.
Man, back when Blue Flame Hellions had that huge reigniter damage, you just planned on making SCVs all the time, all game, because they'd all be dying so fast.
Well, high tech has actually been disrupted now. No Infestation Pit, no Greater Spire either. So, and at the same time, these carriers continuing to push back this force, but that is still a lot of Corruptors that Hero's going to have to deal with.
This is the weirdest game. Hero's definitely doing a good job, though, of taking advantage of his opponent's immobility. Zerg is, of course, known as kind of the very fast-reacting, very mobile army, very mobile race to play in StarCraft 2, but not in the late game. In the late game, it becomes one of the slowest. And even though those Corruptors move around pretty quickly, the Broodlords, which handle things like those Zealots that we just saw, have a long way to go between bases. Look at this.
That's right. Only Terran battlecruisers really get that a run for its money, if you think about it. So,
yeah, very true.
Well, Hero is still going to kill a lot of workers here. Continues to run in with a few of these carriers, cleaning up some of the forces on the ground.
Oh, look out, carriers.
Oh, no. The Corruptors just picking off these carriers one by one. Two die almost instantly.
Wow. I mean, Anyang needs to be careful. I mean, I think that's why we saw him pull back, because he knows that if the mothership is nearby, they can all get Vortex. But yeah, there's just no answer to these Zealots, because, you know, once the Broodlords make it to this side of the map, now watch, Hero's going to bring some more in on the other side.
And he's got the mothership already over there waiting to recall some units out whenever they get in trouble.
Yes, he does. Oh, he's grouping up. Here comes the recall.
Let's see. Nope.
It's going to be... Oh, he was thinking about it.
Probably waiting for them to come under fire or something like that. But unfortunately, Hive Tech's now going to go down for Anyang. It looks like he did restart the Infestation Pit. My apologies. So that is up somewhere. And here we go. The carriers start to push in a little bit. So these Broodlords could get whittled down here in a second. The Corruptors are going to have to react, and it looks like they will.
Yep. That's right. Hero kind of waiting for the opportunity to possibly recall that army, but he doesn't really need to. I mean, the Stalkers are just doing tons of damage.
That's right.
The supply continues to fluctuate, but over time, Hero has just continuously whittled down his Zerg opponent here. Just great late game play from Liquid Hero. I mean, he has really had the answer for everything Anyang's been doing in this game.
And he has almost entirely mined out his side of the map, I do want to point out as well. As we can see, Hero, he's working off of a base which is very low here, and this one as well. Now, of course, he has plenty of resources to go around, do not get me wrong, but still, you know, something else
look
to consider.
Look out, the carriers. Oh, he's got 4 more carriers on the way. The Corruptors are dying very quickly because they're getting a little bit separated here.
And they're going after interceptors. He doesn't have them grouped up going after carriers instead. So
Anyong not controlling his units like he needs to be right now. I mean, things are looking pretty grim for our Zerg player as it is anyway, but you can't let things slip. If you want to have any chance of winning a game like this, you really have to be on top of things at all time.
Well, 48 minutes into the game, we are still not resolved. Wow. I know, no kidding. So one of the longer games. One we'll be talking about for a while, too. You know, Heroes had pretty good control of this game.
No kidding.
Still has outs, though.
Infestors.
Oh, no. That's a lot. That's a lot of death.
That is indeed, and the supply gap starting to grow a little bit here between Hero and Anyong Prime. Hero here's the thing, I mean, even though this game has gone on for so long and it looks like Anyong Prime is doing a great job of holding on, which he is, he just has never been able to make it to Hero's side of the map. He's never, ever once in this game gotten that momentum that he so desperately needs to come back.
And looks like he's going to bounce in with a few units here. Hero being a little bit cavalier with his units as well at times.
He can waste these Corruptors, these Stalkers, though. This is okay.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. This is fine. This is fine. Not this specific circumstance, but it has happened in the past where he's been a little bit cavalier with his units. And picking off these Broodlords is just going to be too good, so.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be getting close to the end, I think, for Anyong Prime, losing those very expensive Broodlords. I mean, if you look at the resources right now in the upper right part of your screen, Anyong can't afford this. He can't afford to replace these Broodlords at this point.
That's right. He's sitting on almost pure Infestor Corruptor at the moment. There are still 8 Broodlords somewhere. Okay, there we go. Most of them sitting overhead now, and this Warp Prism trying to get away. Looks like doesn't actually get away, so very nice job there. Needs to fungal it again, though.
Yep. And so that harassment is going to be over. Wouldn't be surprised to see Hero make another Warp Prism immediately. That's kind of what he's been doing all game.
Neuroparasite is actually finished, though, so if he can, you know, maybe he can grab a mothership and try and turn this around that way.
Yeah, if he can neural and then neural that mothership and then get a nice vortex on a lot of Heroes units, that's kind of his only option at this point. And I mean, we have seen Zergs come back and win, you know, via that method. They are, you know, way down. They cut the Protoss army into 2 very manageable chunks with vortex from neural parasiting that mothership, and they win. So I mean, Anyong Prime, he's definitely on the ropes here, but he does have a chance. It's just going to be incredibly difficult, I think, for a Zerg player to win this game.
And look at this. It's important to note, too, that Hero has to take another base right now because he's mined out of everything, and that includes gas as well, and his gas is super, super low. He'll be able to make a lot of Zealots, yes, but if he can't deal with the Air Forces, he's actually going to have a decent problem there.
Well, Hero, he could also be in a situation, too, as well, where he could start to move out with that army if he wants to.
I just want to mention that over a 52-minute game, Anyong Prime has kept up 313 average APM.
Wow, that's quick hands.
That's staggering. That's endurance, too.
And that's a great Zerg player. I mean, you need higher APM to keep up with everything as a Zerg player, but, you know, even with those fast fingers that Anyong Prime has, he hasn't been able to keep up with the multi-pronged harassment that Liquid Hero's been throwing at him. A big part of it that has been that late-game Zerg tech.
Yeah, that may be true, but I gotta say, you know, Anyong's did a pretty good job now of, you know, I mean, he's stabilized a little bit. He's got decent income. It's actually way better than Hero's at the moment. And like I said, Hero has so little gas right now, he's going to be able to replenish his army with very low-tech units.
Spire on the way again for Anyong Prime, trying to rebuild things here. And I feel like Hero is just kind of pushing him into a corner. He's like, all right, I know you've actually got some resources at some of your other bases, so I'm just going to try to take those now. Yeah, probably what he's going to go for.
Kind of what's happening. Hero finally has another base established for his own.
Well, we'll see what happens. Infestation Pit goes down again. Oh, man, this is so messy when they blow up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Notice that, geez.
Little explosions.
Yeah, all right. So how many Corruptors are out on the map right now? Let's take a look at the unit counting station. We have
16 Corruptors, 21 Infestors.
Yeah, those 21 Infestors are going to be what saves the game for Anyong, if anything does. There are 12 carriers out right now, which is great for Liquid Hero. And it's just one of those things. I feel like we're really going to need to see that Archon toilet maneuver, you know, where you vortex a big part of the Zerg army if possible. The Corruptor's like, come back! And then try to get your Archons in there, AoE everything down.
That's right. So this Warp Prism going to try and drop in, do a little economic damage.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, he does kill quite a few workers there. Everything going to get cleaned up, but again, that brings the total to 150 workers killed for Hero. Man. Oh my God.
This is insane. We might see 200 workers killed in this game.
Yeah, by just one person, no less.
Yeah.
All right, so 14 more drones coming up to replace those lost. Hero's got to find himself a second mining base, though. He's got so many probes sitting down here. I was going to say doing nothing, but as soon as I click on them, of course, move into action.
Let's take a look at the resources lost for each player here as well.
Yeah, let's see. Which one
is
that?
I believe that's L.
Okay.
I want to say that's L.
Let's see here. There we
Just
go.
regular L, yeah. So if you look at things, right now, Hero's lost a lot more money-wise and resources. So, you know, that is a bit of a problem for him. Normally, when you see something like that, you're like, oh, no, that's pretty, you know, that's pretty rough. He's lost 20,000 almost more resources than his opponent. But if you look at the units lost, that represents a huge, huge amount of larva for Anyang Prime. And so that's going to be a situation, too, where Anyang is continuously having to remake units. He's not able to get to that point where he has the big bank and he has the larva to make that big late game engagement. And frankly, from looking at what Anyang Prime is doing right now, I really feel like he just doesn't really know how to engage this army. I mean, he could just be sitting around and waiting and letting Hero kind of use up all the resources on the map, but you can't do that. I mean, Hero's got way too much of the map right now for Anyang to starve him out on just, you know, the equivalent of basically 2 bases right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like Anyang is just trying to puzzle out the perfect way to engage this army, because it will need to be perfect if he wants to have any chance at all of winning this game.
Yeah, and Hero's kind of given him the opportunity to get to that point, though. I mean, now we see the Spinecrawler Forest is once again established. We see a sizable force. The infestor count is still huge, and now we're back up to Greater Spire again. Guys, if you're just joining us, this hive was originally over here about an hour ago.
Yeah, I mean, you do see this, though, in the very, very late parts of the game. Nice fungal on those carriers.
Very nice.
In very late game, in pro play, things do tend to slow down because the players have to take time to puzzle things out. There's not that automatic reflex that you have in the first, I don't know, like 30 minutes of a StarCraft 2 game. You know, most players are pretty comfortable into the, you know, the late game, but this is like what they would call the super late game.
I've got to say, though, I like Anyang's resource base more than I do Hero's at the moment. I mean, he's got decent gas intake. He's got a lot of gas banked up. He just built a lot of Corruptors, so we can go back into even more Broodlords now. So looks like Anyang is just going to continue to add on a few more Spinecrawlers here.
Sacrificial Stalkers.
Yeah, Sacrificial Stalkers not doing anything. That wasn't even like, well, free up supply for something.
I know,
that
was just
nothing.
Bad. Yeah, there was no reason actually to send those Stalkers in there. I think maybe that was just a bad click, or he thought he could jump in and snipe off a Broodlord possibly, but man, Hero just needs to do something. He needs to try to end this game. It's on him to be the aggressor, because I feel like if he leaves Anyang Prime alone for too long, Anyang Prime is going to have that time he needs to figure out that perfect composition to take out what Hero has.
Oh!
Great fungal growth.
Really good catch. Look at the Executioner squad of the Spinecrawlers up at the top.
Oh, man, that last one was like, I want to get back in. I'll take my chances with the Infested Terrans. And he lived. So,
That's right.
Think about that. He was
the boy who lived.
Yeah. That's right. He's got like a lightning bolt shaped scar. He's like, this is from Psionic Storm once. I got a little bit too close to myself. My parents didn't like sacrifice themselves for me or anything.
it was just carelessness,
I'm
really.
Just bad at being a Templar. Yeah, well, here we go. Hero pushing in right now. The Spine's obviously not going to be too helpful against the carriers, but that is a lot of Corruptors. But is it enough?
It's getting close to that point again, though. We have 12. Let's take stock. We have 12 carriers. We have a couple of Archons. We have a few Stalkers and things like that. But it's 162 supply over 200. It was getting back to what I was talking about before. Hero has mined out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 gas geysers over this game. 14 of them. I want you to think about that. And he's starting to get pretty far into number 15 and 16
here.
Yeah,
most games you don't even see 4 gas geysers total on the map mined out. But Hero himself has mined out 14.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
so,
amazing.
And now, I mean, he can make 1 million Zealots right now, but what's that going to get him? Absolutely nothing if he can't wrest control of the skies. So this has been an interesting situation, but I like Anyang Prime's position better than I do Hero's.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Anyang Prime certainly has a nice position. Like you said, he's able to push out with those Spinecrawlers, but I just feel like the economy advantage that Hero has is just going to end up being too much for Anyang in the end. That, you know, he's going to be able to continue to spend a little bit longer than his opponent is, even with that shortage of gas. So we'll see. I mean, all right, so here we go. We're about to be into the very, very, very ultra late game.
We're an hour in.
I want to hear your predictions, man.
My predictions?
I pick Hero wins this game.
I pick Anyang wins this game.
Okay,
so
well, this is interesting now.
I like
We'll
Anyang's position better. I think once the armies trade, Hero's going to make 1,000,000 zealots, and Anyang will make 3 things that attack from the air, and he'll win.
This is funny because you're the Protoss player and I'm the Zerg player, and we're each picking the other person's race. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's because your race is overpowered.
So your race is overpowered. That's why, obviously, Protoss wins, and we're going to find out soon, I think.
Oh, my God.
We're at about the breaking point right now. This is going to be about it.
Something has to happen. Mothership is hanging back just a little bit now. Changelings just kind of mixed through the middle. I love that.
Can we join? Because obviously Hero's going to win. Can we join the army?
All right. Well, this has certainly proven to be an interesting game.
Oh, they trapped the Stalker.
Else, so. Oh,
no.
Whatever will they do?
Stalker's like, oh, what do I do?
Oh, my God. Oh, I got to kill my way out of here. I never wanted to do this. I don't want to be this kind of person.
Oh, I forgot I could blink. Never mind.
And I'm actually a dead DT, so this doesn't make sense.
That's right. Well, the Stalker is freaking out, man. He's having one of those panic attacks.
Jimmy legs.
I guess so. He's like, I can't. I don't like enclosed places. Well, that's why I don't spawn on Xel'Naga cabins anymore.
All right. Man. Well, we've got a couple mining. We're about to mine the map out entirely, 100%.
Yeah,
there's some resources up here. I'm surprised Anyang hasn't tried to at least claim. I mean,
he can't
at some point. So
Hero won't let him.
I suppose so.
It's true.
Oh, boy.
Well, this is a very long game. We are at 1 hour and 2 minutes in game time.
That's right. Second longest game we've ever casted.
That's right. No, I was about to say no Calvin Colossus or Build the Colossus this game.
Yes.
We've got maybe Calvin Carrier. I don't know.
It's possible. Some of these have got to be. We had the DT who showed some promise.
10 kills, 9 kills,
yeah,
24,
26, 21. Not bad.
12. All right, so nobody can touch Calvin Colossus, man, except for Build the Colossus. But
well, that's true. Yes, the originals.
Calvin Colossus is so much more stylish. Nice fungal on those units, trapping a lot of those.
More stylish, but Bill's so much more effective.
Hero's got the supply advantage and the recall. Where did they go?
Oh,
they're down here at this undefended base.
All right. Well, Anyang needs to pull all his forces back and in a hurry. A couple of fungals go down. He did not actually take over the mothership, though, and it looks like we may have that engagement. Vortex goes down. He's overexposed the mothership now, though, of course, if he's not able to do a significant amount of damage with that Vortex, he's out of energy for another 85 seconds. It's going to be incredibly difficult for him to be able to pull those back. Very good storms keeping those infestors at bay, and he needs to be able to counter this out a little bit.
Here we go. Archon's in there, but will it be enough? Great fungals on the army. Great feedbacks on the infestors. The mothership escaping.
That's right. Mothership escaping, but just barely. The Corruptor's now starting to chase it down. And the mothership, oh, God, it's so close.
So many carriers left over. It's 121 supply for Hero, but he's still got like 1,000,000 carriers.
He does.
Oh, he's got 10.
Oh, that's insane.
I don't understand this game anymore, man. I mean, Hero, he's down in supply, but he was able to take out that mining base.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he can make a ton of zealots, like you said, but...
That's where we're at. He can make 88 zealots, 88 of them. That would catch him up in supply, but what is he going to do with them? They're not going to do a thing.
That's right. Well, Corruptor's out. That Stalker's like, I got this. I escaped from the cocoon. He was going to say a cocoon of...
Changelings?
Changelings, yeah, but he didn't get the chance. I'm the speaker for the dead of Colossus, or of Stalkers too, and Colossus. Why not? I'll be bold.
I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. So, unfortunately, Anyang spent a lot of resources in the Corruptors right there, so doesn't have enough for a hatchery. He has to save up for it, but he's starting to siege up Hero's only remaining base. Now Hero's sitting right outside. He doesn't have enough yet for a Vortex.
He needs to react to this. He needs to do something. Oh, and the Nexus goes down.
Boom.
But luckily, Hero can build like 8 more of them. Oh, and look at that. Broodlord's getting taken out by the Stalkers and the Carriers.
Picked off 3 of them. Now he's getting fungled, though. He's got to watch out. So a lot of Interceptors are going to die here. Feedback's hitting yet more infestors. Hero's really been on top of his feedback control.
Such a tense game. I do not know who's going to win.
I don't either. We made predictions before, but any player could take this.
Yeah, I don't know. This could really go either way. I'm surprised Hero hasn't rebuilt his Nexus. There he goes, just starting it now again.
Yeah.
But this is just crazy.
Yeah, this is a little insane.
You know, wow.
Well, okay, so let's take stock of the situation after all of that action. 7 Broodlords, 21 Corruptors, 10 Infestors versus the 13 Zealots, 12 Stalkers, 10 Carriers, Mothership, and 2 High Templar for our Protoss player Hero.
Man, my legs are just like bouncing up and down into the table like crazy right now. I don't know. I'm just going crazy with this game. Looks like he did decide to make a lot of Zealots and Stalkers, so bringing in that Gateway army, fake Zealots getting found out by the Photon Cannon, so that's good.
I know what we need to ask Blizzard for.
What?
How many changelings get killed in a game if there's a tab? Because this game, I think, has 1. I mean, it's a record, and this game is 1.
What? He's killed more than 1 changeling.
No, I'm saying that this game has set the record for the amount of changelings killed.
Okay, well, here we go. Speaking of things getting killed, a lot of Zealots coming in. Fungals on a lot of those Zealots, the Spine Crawlers, so falling very quickly. Oh, Carrier goes down. Oh, he missed the Vortex.
He did. So the Infestor should be able to fungal. Ouch. One Broodlord decides to jump in. For what reason, I don't know, but it looks like the Zealots are going to run around from the side. Carrier's continuing to get picked off. The units are just about to pop out of the Vortex here in just a second. How many Carriers are remaining? Just 7 of them. He's going to go after the Mothership. He takes it down.
He gets the Mothership, but the supply sinking for the Zerg player. Though the Zealots doing so much damage, you got to keep in mind, even if the Corruptors kill off the Carriers, the Zealots are doing stuff on the low ground or on the ground itself.
Really good fungal growth, catching a lot of Carriers.
Indeed.
He's just down to 3 now. 2 Carriers, 1 Carrier. They've all fallen, so nothing is in the air, and all the Zealots have gone down. Hero's down to just 50 supply.
Liquid Hero, he's still got a ton of minerals left. He can still make a ton of Zealots if he wants to, but will that be enough to win the game? His opponent can still make Broodlords. Hero needs gas desperately right now, but he only has 1 base mining it. He just can't get the gas he needs to make the Stalkers that he needs to kill those Broodlords.
That's right. He's just going to try and rush in with a bunch of Gateway units, but he just can't. I mean, even with just 3 Broodlords up, that's just way too much for Hero to try and assault.
This is insane.
It is.
Hero just was in a good position, then he wasn't, then he was, then he wasn't. Anyang Prime, same thing goes for him as well. 1 mining base really for both players. Well, those changelings did their job. Apparently that is that.
Well, I can say this. Whoever comes out of this game is going to be useless in the next game.
They're going to be pretty tired, man.
Yeah.
Anyang Prime, if he goes up 3-0 on Team Liquid, though, that will be a position that Prime will obviously be very happy in. Here we go, Zealots attacking that last remaining base, but getting caught up with all the Broodlings. This is not working for Hero.
No, not at all. These Zealots going down very quickly. Looks like he will be able to pick off a couple of those Broodlords. No, actually not focusing them down. Then finally does pick off 1, then 2, but unfortunately going to lose most of his units in return as well. We are passing the 1 hour and 11 minute mark. This game is ridiculous. Bennett jumping into the room, showing his appreciation for all that is StarCraft. Thank you, Bennett.
Oh, man, I just don't know what Hero can do at this point to win this game. I mean, he can't make a lot of Stalkers. He can only make a lot of Zealots, which obviously are not terribly helpful.
Mined out another base.
He's mined out. He doesn't have enough for Nexus either. This is it. I mean, he's going to blink in, try to kill these Broodlords, and then I think we're going to see GG. There it is. GG.
Oh, my God. Anyang wins the game. Prime goes up 3-0 after a 1 hour and 11 minute game.
Man, and if Team Liquid can come back.